Okay. It's going to be tough all round, but we should be okay. We'll take a look over here at the north. Right. I do have these level 3 entrenched positions, which are good. Have them on reserve. So what do I have here then? Clear. I might fall back from that hex there. So as a hex that can be attacked from multiple positions, it would allow it to beef things up a little bit. Have you as a reserve. Then again, I want to hold on to as much territory as I can, otherwise we're not going to get it back. And abandoning level 3 fortifications isn't going to do me much good, really. So I suppose it's not worthwhile. I do have these elements over here then. What I'd like to do then is... I'd love to try and get some more units out here. I do have some infantry here. I'm going to have them railed up over here to the north. The heck did I just grab there? What the hell? Okay. Okay, apparently I can't move them right now. Send east. Interesting. Okay, fair enough. I guess I can't move them right now. Seems like I can't move them either. They're locked in place, apparently. Yeah, they're locked. That's a bit of a shame. Right, okay. In all fairness, we're not looking bad here, really. Just need to have the ability to carry a move in here, but I think we will do. As far as it goes here, then, let's see. They're fairly weak. Reinforce these positions here. Yeah, we do have a canals here that should help us out. Yeah, BLeAcHACiD polder. Probably very nasty terrain to fight in there. Right, okay. So you're in reserve there. What I'm going to do then is shift you to a reserve. Have you place that. Have one of these as a reserve there. Have you in reserve because you're not likely to come under a direct attack. And we should have you as a reserve as well. I don't think you'll be able to fight, but it might be worthwhile. So I think we're looking alright there, actually. I mean, we've broken through. It's not quite the amazing breakthrough I really wanted to have there, but it's good enough. You have to really practice on this scenario to actually know where to break through and how to really make things work. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at the losses. I can imagine there's been some tremendous losses in the air. Tremendous losses on the ground here as well. 11,689 men lost here. 10,257 killed. That's a lot of men killed there. That's a lot of men killed. 5,943 on the Allied side. That's a lot of men there. Not a lot in the east, but a lot in the west. To be honest. We had 75 AFVs there, 273 there. Air power is going to be big. Yeah, 582, 545. Those are some big numbers. But we can't replace that anywhere near as easily. Just can't do it. Cannot do it. Pretty big there. How many ME-262s do we lose? Wow. 46. That's a lot of ME-262 there. Shame. But they were employed as they should have been. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the next turn then. I do have a book down here, which is German Aircraft of the Second World War by J.R. Smith and Anthony Kay, which is actually really huge, and I bought it for £10 and I'm really, really happy I did. Bought it from a shop in York, England called Fossgate. Amazing shop, actually. So much in the way of second-hand books. Amazing. Let's take a look, actually. Let's find something about the ME-262. Something fun. Here we go. ME-262. 531. Let's see. Here we go. Here we are. Oops. Okay. When the Messerschmitt ME-262 entered service during the autumn of 1944, it was the first turbojet aircraft to do so and thereby opened a new era in aerial warfare. Allied leaders, already anxious about the new operational ME-163B rocket interceptor, became further alarmed of a later threat to their bomber streams, and the only immediate, albeit inadequate, answer to the problem was to rush out the hybrid Republic P-47M Thunderbolt escort fighter. Although this piston-engined aircraft was specially prepared to achieve a maximum level speed of about 755 km per hour, 470 miles per hour, it was still some 70 miles per hour slower, 113 kilometers, than their best level speed. Of the ME-262, and other factors such as better maneuverability could not always make up for this deficiency. Fortunately for the Allies, only a small proportion of the 1,430 ME-262s manufactured were employed operationally, and their effects were diffused over various roles ranging from day and night interception to reconnaissance and bombing, and although good results could be and were obtained in these roles, many tactical errors were made, and the final total operation tally was not outstanding. I'm trying to keep an eye on what's going on here and actually trying to read at the same time. It's not going too well. I'll finish that a little bit later on, actually. I like having books on hand like that because it's actually fairly interesting. And it's nice to have a little bit of actual real history there. I'd like to get one about armoured fire vehicles, or just armoured vehicles in general. Just every element would be nice. Every element would be absolutely fantastic, actually. I do find it really intriguing to actually look at the actual guns themselves. Or logistics, that'd be really cool. Okay. So these garrisons will hold out a little bit longer, which is pretty cool. If it ties up Allied forces, then that's fine by me. Okay. They're pushing pretty hard there. They're taking some pretty nasty casualties for doing so, however. Okay. Now, while I was reading, I didn't actually get to see what happened with our pocket. Well, with the Battle of the Bulge, essentially. It should be okay. We didn't really have any weak points as such. It was pretty strong. Well, there we go. We had the Alpine zone to render, which is not good. I did have that force. Yeah, there's not much I can do about it, really. We'll drop what reserves I could to these areas, but there's not much you can do. I did have to move reserves down here to actually hold the mainland. That's what you would call it. The spine of Italy, I don't know what you want to call it. South of Milan, anyhow. Right, okay. So we are holding here, which is good. I mean, that's a bit of a weak point. And the Allies are going to attack really quite aggressively now. But we do have the fortifications working in our favour. The Times 3 is pretty rough to fight against. Not much in the way of losses there, but it looks like they just didn't make it in. It looks like it was just a scouting, essentially. Okay. Now, ideally, the 187. That's pretty close there. Not close enough, thankfully. 50 is closer, still holding there. Taking a few casualties, to be honest. Yeah, okay. We are being attacked by fairly large forces. The second attack did have about 300 AFVs. Okay, we can hold them fairly well there. We did have reserves actually in the Panzers. Not the second time around, but yeah, the second time around the attack is going to be weaker. So it looks like we came under attack from... Are they the Canadians or the Polish? That's not good. 230-second retreats there. That's not good. Right, they do hold that time, but it's not great because we've lost a fortified position there. Not good. Because that's the natural critical weakness of a line now. Right, but a counter-attacking... I mean, this is it. It's much easier to fight in the defensive, so at least we can weaken the enemy. That works for my... that works for me. Okay. I did reinforce that position better, actually, so you can see we have 23,000 men there. Okay. Looking pretty solid. Oh, that was really solid there. We only lost 9 men. Jesus. Not bad. Those kind of numbers I can actually manage. Okay. So the enemy has moved in a number of armoured brigades in here. That's a very poor place to attack. They didn't do too bad though, actually, considering. But that was a large attack, actually. What was it, 58,000 men? That's a big attack. That is a very big attack there. Wow. We do hold there, but it got pretty close. It did. I mean, that's 955 AFVs. This is what I'm talking about. The ability of the Allies to bring so much force to bear is humongous. 120,000 men there, 1,627 AFVs. They were looking to make it out there, essentially. Yeah, that's not something you hold against. Okay. Pretty rough, but at least we actually do have the ability to maintain a smaller, tighter line. Yeah, the issue is just losing those fortifications. We can dig fortifications, but we just need to hold that position for a length of time. Right, so I did rightly predict that we would be attacked there, which is why they were reinforced, which is good. They didn't have any reserves actually join them, which is a bit of a strange one. Yeah, defender fort reduce there. So I'd have to move in reinforcements there to make sure that holds, and I could have potentially done that, actually. How you doing there, Mike? Good to have you, my man. Good to see you as always. Seen you in quite a few different games, haven't I, now? Okay, so we do have a reserve, which is good. That definitely does help them to hold. Light numbers there, actually, on our end. Jäger do a really good job there. Take no casualties, which is impressive there. Huh. Have the British fallen back from that forward position? If they have, that's fantastic, actually. That would actually give me something to work with there. Probably worse defensive terrain, but it'd be worthwhile having. Okay. So, they're attacking this position quite hard. And it's going to suck for us, but we aren't losing too much. Yeah, I feel like I've done much better on this scenario in the past. I'm just going to have to replay until you get to the point where you can actually learn to do well. I'm going to obviously continue with these results. This is a campaign after all, so it's rather intriguing. I think the setup is a little bit different in the actual Battle of the Bulge scenario, perhaps. I'm not too sure. Okay, Allied line shift. That penetration there is a bit of a problem, but I don't imagine they'll be able to keep on pushing it too much if I reinforce that. So at least we have that going for us. Right now. Sometimes when I see the name of these cities, it does make me want to play EU4. It's kind of funny like that. Yeah, ideally we hold on to that. It looks like we've been shoved out of mountains into probably hills, perhaps, or rough terrain. I think it'd be rough terrain. I would prefer the mountains in all honesty, but what can you do? We don't have as much as we would like to. Okay. This is the 1945 campaign scenario. Okay. So we do have the Battle of the Bulge, which we are actually waging here. So 131 losses there, 281 losses there for the Allies. A number of level bombers there taken out. Okay, 131 fighters. 131 on our end, sorry. So I think some of these forces might be available to move out in the future, perhaps. What do we see here then? Let's check. Wow, that's impressive. Oh, so they've actually pulled back over here, which is intriguing. That's actually really good for us. So they pulled back. They still do have some fortifications over here, but not as much. They do have weaker positions now, which is great. I mean, the 1st SS Panzer didn't actually engage last turn. So they should be really quite strong this time round. They are equipped with the King Tiger too, the Koenigs Tiger, which is nice. I'd like to not use it if I could avoid doing so. But that's pretty good. We do have fuel in there, not as much as I would really want, but enough. Yep, our units are available to move now. But actually having a wider... Yeah, I mean that's it. That's going to be good for us. It's going to help out the supply situation, but... If I could actually take Luxembourg and actually take that rail line, I'd be really happy. Because that would actually allow me to move supply directly into this area, while have rail actually moved up there. If we even have it available, but there we go. So take a look at the situation. We do see a very weak 14th US Cavalry group over here. I mean, that is pretty weak there. I mean, that's a battalion, I believe. I believe it is a battalion. Or it might be a regiment. No, I think it's a regiment, actually. Yeah, that's a regiment. I think 2 would be a battalion. Or it could be a company, actually. No, 2 would be a battalion, I believe. 1 would be a company. I think that's how it goes. I just forget how it goes. I'm going to have to get a chart of that somewhere. But we don't see any fortifications here. We do see this position here with... we're actually seeing the British employed down here. Okay. 2nd US Armoured. Right. We've seen a number of armoured units here. Yeah, exactly. Oh, they have actually abandoned this area, which is intriguing. And I can actually work with that. Very nicely. But actually is going to allow us to actually hold on here significantly better. Right. They've shifted over here as well, which is intriguing. And I think we were pushing back from these positions. So that's interesting that they've done that. They do actually have some sort of a gap here, which is intriguing. I don't have any armored units that can actually take advantage of that, but that's an intriguing little development there. It shows you that the AI has definitely shifted a large amount of its focus here, which is understandable considering that we have pretty much there's a lot of armored power here. We're not going to see much of that elsewhere. Okay. So, I would like to see the... let's see. How do we bring up the doctrine again? Here we go. So we have our air directives here. So we have reconnaissance over here. They've actually shifted back considerably here as well. That's intriguing. So we could actually move into the Alsace there, which would be nice. Okay. Quite important there. We still have our reconnaissance here, which I'm liking. We have reconnaissance over here, and reconnaissance here. I think I might leave them as they are. Yet cool. Let's see. Let's make this a larger area then. Let's say about 3 perhaps. What can I actually have assigned here? Oh, so I can't have these units assigned there, so that's a shame. We'll go with that for the sake of time, actually, because I do not have a huge amount of time here tonight. We only have 30 more minutes, so we'll go ahead and we'll go with this as it is. Can always go ahead and try things out in the future. So what I'm going to do here is save it. I'm going to go with it as is. Right, there we go. The reconnaissance is going to be most important though, really. But it should actually be easier, and considering that we have units that are in something of a disarray, they are more concentrated as well, so we should ideally be able to see them easier due to that actual concentration there, really. Let's see. So we had 5 aircraft lost, the Allies none. We had 500 sorties flown there. Weather doesn't look to be exactly in our favour, really. Righto. Okay. So we do have these positions over here which are excellent. That allows me to actually make more use of infantry, which is really good. And these guys can shift into here. That actually is going to allow us to move much further now. So we don't see that much in front of us. We do see the 473rd separate US infantry division there. That's interesting. So is that like a independent, perhaps? I think that's what that means there with the SEP separate, perhaps. That position there, the 14th US Cav, is looking very weak. Whether it's actually that weak, I do not know, but it looks weak, and it looks like we could actually break through that. And the good news is then we'll actually drive on towards Liege, which is very nice. The enemy is moving in a odd way, but this is the AI. Of course, a human opponent wouldn't do this. It'd be intriguing to play this against a human opponent, because you'd probably have zero mercy. Which would be fun. Let's see, so we do have an American. I don't know how you pronounce that. An American? I don't bloody know. I've got no chance of getting that right. Actually. So that does allow me to free up more units here. I can actually have a proper reserve then of Fallschirmjäger, which is nice. We have Arnhem over here. Okay. And it does go to the rail line here, which is excellent. Doesn't do too much good for me, but I have it. Having that connection there is nice. That does help us out to a degree. I don't imagine that rail line is going to be actually useful for us, but it's good to have. Have you move there as a reserve. Yeah, so the British are shifting their lines. We were kicked back from here, to be honest, but it'd be worthwhile to push back up and actually retake that. Okay. As long as I can put that pressure on the British there, that's good for us. And I say pressure, it's essentially just like being grateful for them pulling back. We do have Aachen over here. Aachen would be excellent to retake due to the fact that it is actually German. So being able to retake Aachen would be really great. Excuse me. The reason being, well, it's going to actually help us. One would imagine. Maybe, who knows. I don't know how the people would feel at this point in time, actually. Right, let's see. I mean, that we could potentially overwhelm and drive on towards Aachen. I mean, that could be a potential way to push in here. We don't have that much power there to work with. Yeah, and I do have these Panzer Grenadiers actually that are available to move now, which is excellent news. And they've had a little bit of time to actually recuperate, which is good. Now it's taken a little bit more fuel and supply, which is excellent. So I'm really happy about that. So what I'm going to do then is shift to the Volts Grenadier. And here as well. Yeah, so the beauty is they can actually participate in attacks, which is very nice. It gives us a lot of extra oomph that we wouldn't have had normally, so I'm quite happy about that. So we are seeing British forces here and American forces, so they have shifted up a fair amount of force, actually. We do have a gap here to the south, which is intriguing, but that's no good for me. I'm going to have to drive up this way. It looks like there are British forces, but in all honesty, I can just carry on driving this way. We are heading towards Aachen, towards Antwerp. Aachen would be nice, don't get me wrong, but Antwerp is the goal there. Brussels isn't that far away, really. The good news is the terrain gets easier on us as we move forward. Yeah, if we could actually cut these forces off over here, that'd be great. That would definitely help us out. In all honesty, that'd be great. We do have a large concentration of force here, actually. And the good news is, because I have such concentration of forces, I can actually really get quite tough with the allies here. Shift that position there. Yeah, so you have the Panzers here that were refitted, which is excellent. Okay. So you can see that I do have the infantry here and the artillery, and they could actually potentially attack Malmedy. Now, we know that position is weaker, one would hope. Or do I not have that unit selected? No, I do. Is it not able? Oh, we can only go for a hasty attack, okay. I could potentially have the Panzer divisions involved in this attack, but I probably want to deal with this one first and then deal with that one. So, let's take a look. The enemy doesn't have fortifications right now, which is excellent. We can work with that. We have the ability to drive on here, which is good, and really works out for us. The rail line, I imagine, would not be functional here. But if we could move on to take Liege, then at least we have a direct road there. Whereabouts is the position of the enemy's air power? It'd be great if we could overrun an airfield, that'd be excellent. Being able to overrun Brussels would be excellent if we could do that. But we do see a number of airfields in this area. Trying to deprive the allies of airfields in this area would be nice. It's not going to make a tremendous difference, it just makes it slightly inconvenient for them. which is not exactly a great feeling to think about. Okay. I'm going to give them flag battalions. Whatever I can give them, I may as well give them. Frankly, they're not going to get much of an opportunity to make... that's actually pretty strong there. That's actually more like an older infantry division than we had previously come to expect. That's nice. Okay. So I could shift the artillery back. I could shift a unit in there. Possibly more panzers if I wanted to do so. But I do not. I could actually have this unit on reserve and they might join the battle, actually. But might isn't as good as definitely. So this is rough terrain here. I think this is what we want to do here, is drive through this. That's going to be the toughest position here. So we need to concentrate as much power as I can against that.